Right, so welcome back to another video. We are now in Australia after travelling China and Japan over the course of 3-4 weeks. We are now in Western Australia. So you actually meet us today at Preston Free RV Camp. This is a 48-hour free camp, just about maybe an hour and a half south of Perth. So we are on our way to Esperance, and yeah, we're just going to do a quick van tour today and just tell you a little bit about our brand new camper van. Right, so just tell you a little bit about the van to start with. This is a Japanese import van, so this has never been driven on Australian soil at all. It's a Toyota Hiace 4-wheel drive, long wheelbase van. The reason we wanted to go for this specific model is this basically can take us anywhere we want to go in Australia. So from the corrugations up north to the sands down south, we can literally go anywhere with this vehicle. Admittedly, it has got a bit of weight in it now, so it's lower than what we would like it to be, but we are going to look at getting a lift kit on it so we can go on sand. But for the next 3 to 4 months of us travelling, this is going to suit us down to the ground. Now, we purchased this camper van from a guy called Dan, and his company is called Freedom Campers, and he's based in Bayswater in Perth, and they are so helpful. Dan is the guy who's the owner of the business, and he's got a guy called Adrian that helps with the fit outs, and they've both been so helpful with not only sourcing the van and getting the van imported for us from Japan, but also kitting the van out and giving us some advice on how to actually travel around Australia and how to get the most out of the van. So with the kit out that we've got, it's just a basic queen size bed in the back. We've got an L-shaped sort of counter, pull-out kitchen, sink, fridge, that sort of thing, but we're going to go into more detail about the back in a little while. But first of all, we're going to take you to the front of the van, we're going to show you the cab, our little setup in there, and I'm going to talk to you about the specifications of the van and what sort of drive it is like. Right, so this was my dream van. I've been dreaming of having a Toyota Hiace camper van in Australia for absolutely years, but the reason why we wanted this specific model is that it's an all-wheel drive or a 4-wheel drive. It's an automatic, turbo diesel, and this gives us so much more freedom in Australia. If we got a 2-wheel drive vehicle, not only are you going to struggle going on sands, but you're also going to struggle driving on the corrugations. You're going to struggle doing a lot of things in a 2-wheel drive that you wouldn't struggle with the 4-wheel drive vehicle. So this is why we wanted this specific model. Now, this is my first time driving an automatic, and it is so much easier than driving a manual. You haven't got to think about your gears at all. The only thing that I would say about the gearbox in this one is that you've got... Oh, there's a fly in here. This is what we're dealing with in a camper van as well. There's loads of flies. But what I was just going to talk to you about is the gears that we've got. So if you just come in slightly closer, Liv. So you've got an L, 2, 3 and drive. Now, 9 times out of 10, you can have it on drive. But when you're going up steep hills, we've got a lot of weight in the back with all of our clothes and the food store and the fridge and all of the gear and roof rack and that sort of stuff. You can choose a lower gear just so then you don't put your gearbox and the engine under a lot more stress trying to climb them hills. We've done it yesterday, and just knocking it back into 2 or 3 really helps us get up those sort of steep sort of hills, really. So yeah, we've got slightly lower gears, and then we've got the drive, but 9 times out of 10 we're on drive as well. We've got a dash cam. Now, dash cams are actually a vital bit of kit. When you're getting a camper van in Australia, especially if you are a tourist from the UK, you are going to struggle getting cheap insurance, especially if you're living in the van pretty much full time. Now, we've got our insurance with a company called KT Insurance, and because we had international driving licenses, it was a hell of a lot of money, and it was a hell of a lot more money than if we had Australian licenses. But the one thing that did bring it down is having a dash cam, and another thing getting it down is to have more than one driver on it without any claim. So because we're both UK drivers and we've basically got clean slates on our licenses, that does bring the insurance down slightly. But yeah, dash cam in the front, that is always handy. Now, with this, we've got 2 glove boxes. In here is just all the boring stuff. We've just got like a service book and that sort of stuff. In the top, this was initially going to be a snack cupboard for when we're on the road, but it has changed and now it is Liv's cupboard. So we've got 2 hats in there. We've just got some glasses, some sun cream, that sort of stuff. Just essentials when you're on the road. Air conditioning is great. We haven't had to get it regassed or anything like that. It is so freezing cold. But it does use up a lot of diesel. When we've done like 40 minutes driving, 50 minutes driving, we've had the aircon on, it has chewed through diesel. So just bear that in mind. If you're trying to do travelling cheap, just try and have the windows open a bit more than having the aircon on. Yeah, so in the front we've got 3 seats. So if we've got a passenger with us, or yeah, we just wanted it a little bit more roomy in here, we can always lift this up. But we use it for the centre console more than anything. So we've got 2 cup holders here. Got a little table there for snacks. Little box in there. We keep our water bottles in there just so then they don't shake about and move. But yeah, that is pretty much the front. Yeah, pretty self-explanatory. What we did get in Kmart, because we're getting in and out of the vehicle from beaches and sometimes pools and that sort of stuff, and we're quite wet, we bought these. These were, I think these were about $10, weren't they? Or $12, something like that. And these are just cheap seat covers. These just make sure that you don't damage your seats. And underneath we've got these foam things. These are actually made for the back of the van. The bench in the back of the van I'm going to show you shortly, but unfortunately we dropped them in the mud yesterday, so we're currently going to the laundrette today to clean them. But these would actually go on the bench at the back. But yeah, that is the front. We've got some plastic mats as well. These are the original Hiace plastic mats. These are decent. If you do have like the carpety sort of mats, it does attract sand and you cannot clean them, so having plastic mats is really handy. And you can take these out, you can wash them down, and in 5 minutes they're dry, so they are absolutely perfect. And that is pretty much the front. I'm going to show you inside now, talk to you about the setup that we've got inside the van, talk to you about the kitchen, why we've done our layout like this. We've lived in the van for only 4 or 5 nights now, but we've actually realised that we need things in certain areas to get to them easier. The past 2 nights has been raining non-stop, and this is the first bit of good weather we've had to actually do this video. So we'll talk to you about why we've put stuff in certain places, and yeah, let's show you the back. Another thing that is actually paramount in the front before we move on to the back is these things. This is just going to hold your phone. This was in Office Works, and it was $14, so £7. It's quality, it's glued on, it can fit every phone, and yeah, that is absolutely ideal. So definitely invest in one of them. One thing I would get if you are getting a camper van is some sort of rug or some sort of mat just outside your van, because the amount you are in and out of the van is actually ridiculous, right? Especially when you've got a Hiace like this with like an external kitchen, like a pull-out kitchen. You're always treading about, and there's nothing worse than getting sand or dirt in your van when you're living in it. So definitely get some sort of just dirt rug. It can roll up, it stores in the van, it doesn't take up any more room, and yeah, it's definitely a handy bit of kit to have. So one of the great things about Australia is that the weather 8-9 times out of 10 is brilliant. So you can cook outside, you can either use the free barbecues that are around in most camps and most parks and reserves, or having a pull-out kitchen is a game changer. You don't end up smelling the van out. You have, you can cook outside. It's just nice to be out in nature and cook. So that's one thing that we did want with the van specifically, is to have a pull-out kitchen. Now, click these 2 knobs down, and it's on runners, and it clicks into place there, and that locks it in. So we've just got a standard gas mate butane stove. This takes a little canister that goes in here, and they typically last us maybe 3 cooks, 4 cooks, something like that, and a few kettles. So it can be a bit of an expensive way to do things, but it fits in there perfectly. And it's maybe $1 a tank, is it, Liv? $1 to $2 a tank, something like that. So it's not really any money. You're not really going to be worried about spending that. And we've also got 3 other compartments here. So just underneath here, if you want to just spin around here, Liv, I'll show them. Here we've just got our chopping boards and some thermometers, some tea bags and coffee and that sort of stuff. In the top one here, and initially this one was actually our cutlery drawer, but what we noticed is over the past few days, when the weather has been really, really bad and we've had to cook in the van, or we've had to go and put a kettle on in the van, we haven't been able to get to none of our knives and forks and spoons when they've been in there, so we've changed it to the top. And this is the sort of thing that you'll learn on the road, just your sort of layout, what's going to work for you, but this is how we like to do things. In the top here, we've just got knives and forks, some coffee, sweeteners, and we've got all of our spices in here as well. Not going to go into too much detail about them, but this is a perfect drawer just to have your everyday essentials in. So if you're putting some seasoning on chicken, or you need some knives and forks or sweeteners or anything like that, this is the drawer to definitely put it in. Just in the bottom here, we've got all of our plates, our bowls, our mugs, and our pots and pans. We've thinned everything right down. Initially with the van, Dan gave us like china plates and that sort of stuff, but what we noticed is when we're going over speed bumps, when we're going around corners, they were just clattering a little bit too much for us, and we didn't really want to risk getting them like chipped or having to clean the van up every time that we go around a bend. So we've ended up opting for some plastic plates. In Kmart, these were like $1 or $2, something like that. They was really cheap, and we've got the matching bowls for it as well. But if you don't want to worry about things crashing about in your van, definitely go and get some plastic plates. Another little addition that we've done to the van is we've got these little plastic mats. So these come in a roll of about 8 meters, I think, or 6 meters, and this is just a very anti-slip sort of sticky material that we've been putting on the drawers. So when we're on the road, things just don't move. So that's another thing I would say. It's so cheap just to do these little things, and they do make a massive difference. So since we put these in, we haven't really heard anything rattling in the back. It grips everything really, really well, and yeah, it's a very, very cheap hack just to keep things in place when you're driving. So that just slides straight back in like that. And when we're actually in the van, if the weather is bad, or we just want to quickly grab something, or we're pottering around in the sink and washing up and that sort of stuff, we can just lift this bench up here and we've got everything that we need. The gas stove comes out here as well, and we can easily just put it on the top of the bench with the door open or the window open. And yeah, everything is just so accessible, hence why we have put our seasonings, our knives and forks, and the stove at the top. Now, just behind the passenger seat at the front, we've got this large box. Now, we didn't initially know what we was going to use this box for. We bought it for underneath in the bench, but we realised that we use we use the stuff in here every morning, every evening. When you've got a van that's quite compact, you do need to make sure that you're organised with stuff. Everything has to have its place, otherwise you do end up in a bit of a mess, and it does stress people out. So we've got this tub. This fits nicely behind the passenger seat, and this has got all of our daily essentials in it. By daily essentials, I mean hairbrushes, face wash, toothpaste, mouthwash, like dry shampoo, that sort of stuff. We've got some toilet roll in here as well. We've got our toothbrushes. So everything that we use in here is used daily, if not like 2 or 3 times a day. We've got some water wipes in there as well. If we want to quickly wipe our face or wipe our feet before we get in bed or anything like that. So yeah, definitely having some sort of box that's going to give you your everyday essentials in the van immediately when you want them, without having to undo drawers or move stuff around, is definitely essential. If the weather is terrible as well, and you've got all your toiletries in a back drawer, for instance, you've then got to open the van up, let the elements into your van, potentially get your bedding wet. There's nothing worse than that. So definitely having an essentials box like this is ideal. Just behind the pull-out kitchen, we've utilised the space quite well. So we've just got a collapsible washing up tub. This is really, really good when you're on the road and you don't want things sort of taking up too much room. That is very, very flat, and it actually fits 19 litres of water in. So with our with the shower that we've got, it's 5 litres per minute, and this can do a 4-minute shower basically. So again, so you can wash up in this, you can have a shower in this. It's collapsible and it fits straight behind the bench with no hassle at all. So 2 things that we have got for the van are 2 different showers. Now, we bought this one yesterday. We're yet to use it yet, but our auntie and uncle have done so much travelling, they've said to us we should just go and get a solar camp shower as well as an electric one. A 20 litre tank like this. You fill it up with fresh water here, you screw it all up, and you can leave that on your roof, and because it's black it attracts the heat, and you basically end up with hot water very, very quickly. So rather than having the cold sort of beach showers, you can heat this up for half an hour to an hour. It will get to a decent ambient temperature of probably 30 degrees, something like that. It doesn't really matter on how hot it is outside. So yeah, that can probably get up to 30 degrees in a couple of hours. Just comes with a quick pump, and this is more like a backup shower, or if we are going rural and we know that we're not going to be able to have a shower for a day, we can basically just fill this up with water and not rely on our own water stores in the tank that I'm going to show you in a minute to be able to shower with. So that's a solar shower. And then this is from Aquapack, again a BCF job, and this is rechargeable. We had one that actually plugged into the cigarette lighter, and it looked like quite a good bit of kit, but we had 2 of them, and within 2 days they both broke. So we've ended up going for this one instead. This one was about $90, so about £45. And you basically charge it up. We can keep this just in the van here, so when we're washing off our feet after a day at the beach, or we want a quick shower, you simply click this, put it into the water, draws the water out, and you can have a quick shower. Yeah, because it's rechargeable as well, you haven't got no leads knocking about, there's no way that you can damage any of your electrics, and also you're not using up your solar stores or your leisure battery stores by having a shower. It's simply all battery powered. So yeah, that is the shower. Right, I'm not going to get it out, but we do have a camp table there as well. This comes in really, really handy. We have it outside of the van when we're cooking. We can do all of the prep work outside of the van, save stinking the van out. If we're cooking up onions or we're chopping up like chicken or whatever, we can just have it all outside the van. So yeah, decent sized camp table there. And we do have 2 camp chairs just behind us, but we've got them out of the van just so we have a bit more space in here today. But yeah, they just store behind there when we're driving, and nothing shakes about, everything's in its place, and it's nice and neat and tidy. So that just sits behind the driver's seat. Right, so moving on our setup up here. So we have a pump sink, so these are really handy. It doesn't rely on any electric, and they typically pump out about maybe 100 mil to 150 mil per pump. So for a decent sized glass of water, you've got about 6 to 7 pumps. And yeah, it's just a handy way of having a tap in your van without having any more electrical equipment and weighing the van down at all. So we've, I'm going to walk you around there in a second, but we've got a 25 litre tank of fresh water, and then we've got a 20 litre tank of wastewater. Now you're never going to be able to fill up your wastewater because you're using that tap to drink out of, and who doesn't drink 5 to 10 litres of water over the course of a few days? So yeah, that's what we've got. Liv, if you just come in a little bit closer, I'll show them how it works. So you simply lift it up, simple as that. You've got the wastewater that goes down here, and then you've got the fresh water that goes down there, but I'm going to talk to you more about that in a little while. We have put this decent sized handy storage. We've actually drilled this into the side. We popped back to Adrian at Freedom Campers, and he actually done this for us. So I do think that they're very accommodating when it comes to adding little extras to the van that you buy yourself. We needed something under there to keep things nice and tidy, because we haven't got a lot of room underneath the sink. We thought we needed things in like some sort of tray or some sort of storage box. So under here we just keep all of our dishes, like our dishwashing liquid, like paper towels. We've got like sponges, brushes, that sort of stuff. All the stuff we're going to need to go and wash up is basically underneath the sink. This drawer here is a very handy little drawer, but we're yet to really figure out what we're going to use in here. Initially it was going to be a cutlery drawer, but it was just such a big space, and there's only 2 of us, so we don't need a large cutlery drawer. So we just thought we'd just scale things down a little bit and just make things a little bit easier for us. But in this drawer, we'll keep disinfectant wipes, tea towels, just standard cloths. We've got a large chopping board in there as well if we need it for when we're doing big barbecues or anything like that, or I'm doing steak and I need to rest it. Got some simple like grip seal bags, got some foil, that sort of stuff, some weighing scales for when we're doing specific recipes, or we're just weighing out our food or creatine or protein powder or whatever we're doing. We've got some scales in there, and then just some spare like iPhone leads and that sort of stuff just stuffed in the back. So that is that's a very big drawer, and it's very, very handy to have, and everything stores away nice and neat. Another little extra that we've got is these little heat mats. These were really, really handy. You basically put them down and you can put your pots and pans on it, but also because they grip, we can put a kettle in it when we're driving and it doesn't move. But yesterday we went back to our favourite store in the world, Kmart, and we bought one of these. This is actually made for washing up and for draining, like you're washing up. It's like a little drying thing, but they work the same as the heat mats, and they're made of silicone, so they don't melt when you put a hot pan on it. And also it grips, so we've got a larger space now to go and put stuff. Usually we have our water bottles on there, so then we don't end up marking the surface. Now when I got this van, these were untreated, this wood, so I've sanded these all down and would put about 3 or 4 coats of varnish on it. So these are fully waterproof now, so we're not going to get any mould or any sort of decay on the wood. And then yeah, we just keep like our bread up there on the counter just so that it doesn't sweat. We've got a few of these disposable moisture absorbers. I don't actually know how good these are, but I think they've done a bit of a job for us over the past few days. They must have pulled in some moisture, because when it's been cold and rainy outside and it's been warm and hot in the van, we've had a lot of condensation, but by the end of the day there's not any, so these must have sucked up some sort of moisture. And so yeah, we've got a couple of these. We've got one in the back, one in the front. So our fridge is an LG Brass Monkey, I think it's called, and these fridges are great. They've got a clip on here so it doesn't open when you're driving, and also I can go onto the app at any time and I can find out exactly what the temperatures are on the van fridge. So at the moment I can see that the fridge is at 4 degrees and the freezer is at -2. Liv, if you just come in on the app there, I can see the voltage of the battery that it's receiving, so 13.1, which is great. The battery on the fridge is at 100%, and I can set these temperatures depending on where we are. So just say we're going to be at a camp for, just say, 5 nights, 6 nights, and we're not going to be using the alternator to be able to charge our battery through a DC to DC connection. I'm going to talk to you about the batteries in a bit. But basically, when we drive, our battery is charged through the alternator when we're driving, which is great. But if we're not going to drive for 4 or 5 days, we need to know that this is still getting sufficient amount of voltage from the battery. So knowing on here that the fridge is always going to be okay is absolutely great. There's no second guessing it, and we know that we're always going to have fresh food, fresh milk, and yeah, we're not going to really have to worry about it. But I'm not going to talk to you too much about the fridge and what's in it, but just got cheeses, salads, meats, that sort of stuff in here. Keep some fishing bait, and we also keep some cans of drink in there as well, and some bottles of drink if we need it. But that gets really, really cold, so we can have ice on the road, and it's an absolute godsend. So another couple of little extras that we've added to the van that we think actually really makes a massive difference is we've got, not only have we got these ceiling panels, but we've also got 2 spotlights in here. This lights up the whole van at night and it's great. However, because it's quite a bright LED light, it's like a white light, it's not like a warm light at all. It can be quite harsh when you're just chilling in the van. So we've actually added these fairy lights all around. These run on a battery, but we can plug them in as a USB as well. And yeah, they're great. It's like a nice orange light. They were so cheap, again, from Bunnings or Kmart, I can't remember, but all of them sort of stores really help. And we've attached them with these great little hooks. These are little metal clips, like little metal hooks, and they simply clip on. We go and put the fairy lights over it or twist them around, and they're absolutely great. What we also do as well is, because you do need a head torch when you are doing van life. You might run into some problems at night. You might have to quickly nip out to go to the toilet or whatever you need to do. You might be going on walks down beaches or whatever, and you don't want to rely on your phone light. Having a head torch is key, and these little metal hooks are great. Simply just clip them on, and then you've got it when you want to walk out the van. This is probably one of my favourite features that I've added to the van. I was thinking about how I can have my fishing rods in the van rather than on the roof rack, just in case someone gets a little bit brave and they want to try and take some fishing rods off of us. But these are actually broom holders for garages, so these actually go on a wall. And yeah, we've decided to just go and put them on the roof. They simply clip into the fishing rod like this, and they hold the fishing rod in place. So that is one of my favourite little features that we figured out for the van. There's quite a lot of things that you've got to be inventive with when you're kitting out a van. You've got to try and think, what is a cheap way of doing a difficult job? So rather than having rod holders up here, rod holders from a fishing shop cost like $40–50. Whereas these, I think they cost me about $3, and it does exactly what we need it to do. It doesn't take up too much room. It's not an eyesore, and yeah, it looks great. Now I'm just going to show you underneath the bed. So our mattress actually splits in 2, as you can see there. So we've got a small little bit here just for the foot, and then we've got the large bit for the back. But these drawers here is where all of the stuff that we don't need often basically goes in. So if we open this up, got some of Liv's makeup bags, shower and essentials, my shower bags in there. We've got some toiletries, we've got some bleach, we've got some disposable gloves, and we've also got a camp toilet. So this isn't the prettiest thing about camping, but you do need a toilet on board. We're going to be so rural a lot of the time, you are going to need them. And there's plenty of dump spots, there's plenty of water points, there's plenty of places you can go and service your toilet all around Australia. Most RV short stay areas do have dump spots, or if they don't have them at the RV stop, they'll have them on the long stretches of road towards the RV stops. So I'll quickly show you how it works. Not going to go into too much detail, but you basically open up the bottom. We've got a flush there that's filled with water, and we've put some bleach in there as well, just to be a little bit more hygienic. And in the bottom, you basically put some breakdown chemicals called Aquachem. concentrate. You put like 10 ml of aquachem in it, so like 5 litres of water, and that basically breaks the waste down in the bottom, stops any odours, stops any smells, and you have no problems at all with smells in the van. If there was, we wouldn't have got one, but these are the best compostable toilets you can get. So yeah, it's a great bit of kit, and it fits in this drawer nicely. It doesn't take up any more room, and yeah, that's a great bit of kit. As we come in here, this is actually our battery setup. So we have got a large leisure battery. We've got a 1000-watt inverter in there, so we can then go and have 240-volt electricals, because it goes from 12 volt to 240 volt. I hope I'm explaining this properly. But yeah, we've got an inverter in there, and at the moment we are currently we've currently got a solar blanket out. All of our equipment is King's, and King's equipment is renowned to be one of the best solar equipment you can get, or Renogy. If you can get Renogy, great. If you can get King's, great. King's is slightly cheaper, I believe, but this is a good little setup. It fits in the box here. We can put some stuff around it if we wanted to, but ideally you just want to keep that nice and free and airy, just so that it can always just air out. Now, Liv, if you come a little bit closer. Now, with this, we've got an extension lead that actually goes into the battery directly, so we can have a 6-metre cable going out of the van, so then we can charge our battery from this. I'll quickly show you that on the other side while we're talking solar. Right, so we've got an extension lead that actually goes from the battery just down here, and it heads into our solar blanket. The reason why we wanted a solar blanket specifically is because if you've got a fixed unit and you've got a fixed solar panel on the top of your roof rack, not only can you not use that space on your roof rack, but also you can't just park in shading and have this in the sun. So having a 6-metre extension lead means that we can park in a nice shady spot and have our blanket 6 metres away in the sun, making the most of the Australian weather. And yeah, we're always charging then. So whilst we've just been tidying the van this morning and sorted some stuff out, we haven't had the engine running overnight, so we've just put the solar blanket out this morning. And yeah, it's full of ants, full of centipedes, but who cares? We're going to brush it off and put it back in the van later. And this just sits behind the driver's seat, where the shower and where the chairs are stored. So yeah, just another great little addition to the van. And yeah, you need solar over here. You've got the sun here like 6 days out of 7, so having solar is absolutely ideal. We've got a little indicating point as well on the battery that tells us our voltage, so we know that when we're low, when we're high, and also we can see that through the Brass Monkey app on the fridge. So yeah, solar mat, it is what it is, and yeah, works really well. So one of the main things I wanted to do in the van is be able to sit upright. So as much as we haven't got a high top van, in this I'm very, very comfortable. We've got a decent sized mattress. We've also got a mattress protector, and we've got a mattress topper on there to make it super comfortable. This is a queen size bed, so it's around 2 metres long. Oh no, is it 1.8 metres long?
By 1.5.
Yeah, 1.8 metres long by 1.5. So although I'm slightly too tall for the bed and my feet do stick out the end at night, it's still a very comfortable bed. We've got decent pillows here as well, and we've got to choose all of our bedding ourselves, so that's just a personal preference. We've gone with a light tog duvet, keeps you cool in the summer and hot in the winter. We've got a throw here as well that just goes over the bed, so if we have a day at the beach and we don't want to get our bedding dirty, we just put the throw over it, and yeah, just does a job. At the back here, we've got Sirocco fans. These are ideal. As much as we haven't had to use these much because it hasn't been the best weather since we've got here, these are going to be great in the summer. So that's got 4 speeds. So they've got 4 speeds on them, and you can also set a timer on them as well. So just say we're out for the day, we can keep some of the windows slightly ajar, keep the fans going, and we can just circulate that air for just say an hour, 2 hours, or 20 minutes, or half an hour. They've got little timers on there, which is great. So yeah, we've got 2 Sirocco fans either side. Let's move them, and they are fully adjustable as well, so up, down, and left to right. So with the curtains, admittedly, we was getting loads of light through. So what we've done, we've been to Bunnings and we've got our thinking heads on, and on the back of the curtains, we attached some Velcro. So at night, we can simply Velcro the curtains down onto there. Simply Velcro the curtains down like that, and we get no lighting. Not only is it for light in the mornings, it's also for privacy. You don't want gaps in your curtains, and unfortunately people do end up looking in your van. There are going to be instances where people are looking around your van up to no good, and if you've got your curtains all nice and velcroed down, you're going to have no problems. They're not going to know whether you're in the van or not. And yeah, so it's for privacy, security, and also for light in the mornings. That is an absolute essential for us. I think we would struggle sleeping without having the windows completely secured. So yeah, we've got them on it as well. Another thing I'll quickly show you, which we made because we are travellers and we don't really want to be spending loads of money on stuff, is underneath here we've simply got some cardboard from IKEA, and then we've got the flooring insulation. Now, a lot of this foil stuff, it retracts light, so it doesn't draw in a lot of heat, and it retracts it all. So these are actually for the front windows. I'll quickly show you how these work now. Go on the windows like that, just fold the tops in, and they basically retract all of the light going into the van. And yeah, it's a blackout as well, so at night we don't have any light, in the mornings we don't have any light coming in the van, and we've been sleeping in till like 8 in the morning, so we're not going to have any trouble sleeping at all with these in the van. And yeah, not worried about any light coming in. So yeah, that was a good little thing that we made. So what was great about getting this van is that it already come with the roof rack and a rear ladder. They're the two things that I'd recommend getting if you're going to get a Hiace van. You're going to need some storage on the roof, and you're going to need a ladder to get up there, and also store a waste bag. So I'll quickly talk to you about what we've got on the roof now. We've got the Tactics heavy duty storage boxes. Now these are very, very cheap. I think that was like £30 or maybe like $70, maybe $80, something like that from Bunnings. And we've got 2 of them on the top. That's just got some recovery gear in it. Because we're planning on going off-road, we need some recovery gear. So we've got a set of tracks in there. We've got some heavy duty sort of pull ropes. We've got some recovery clips, some jump leads, that sort of stuff. We've got some jerry cans up there as well, just to hold some water. So everything that we've got is going to be up on the roof for recovery. We don't need it in the van taking up room, and also they're not valuables up there. They're so cheap to replace, so if anyone does decide to go up there and open one, there's not really any need to take anything because it's all cheap stuff anyway. It doesn't actually cost anything. But yeah, on the back of the ladder we've got this canvas bag. Now this is actually made for 4-wheel drives for spare wheels, but I thought let's go and get one. We can strap it to the ladder at the back. Also, it's a deterrent to get people up on the van. But yeah, we basically open this up. Inside here, we've just got some bin bags. We've got our toilet chemicals in here as well. I keep my fishing call box in here, but also we've got like this plastic tub. So Liv, if you just come in a little bit closer. I saw this on Nick Fry's YouTube channel, and he basically put a plastic tub inside his Canvas Kings bag, and just to keep it rigid so it doesn't sag all the time. And what a great idea that is, because now we've got so much room for storage. When we're out in the bush and we're out in the middle of nowhere, or camps that don't have dump points or recycling or bins or anything like that, this is ideal. We keep all of the smell out of the van. We don't attract things in the van like ants, because ants are a nightmare here. Flies are a nightmare here. And the worst thing you want to do is put like raw chicken or meat or vegetables that are going off inside your van. So keeping everything here stored away in the back is just ideal. So as we open up, we've got these handy little compartments either side of these drawers. So we basically, I keep a pipe down here. This basically goes into the ground when I'm fishing, and when the rod buckles over, yeah, this is what I use. Just got some clothes down there and stuff like that, just to keep it nice and compact. I've also got some spare gas bottles here as well that sit underneath the bed. Didn't want them rattling around in the back of the van, so we just keep them just down to the side there. And all of the non-essentials, because the past 2 days it's been raining, it's been rubbish weather. We've got all of the sort of rain wear and outdoor wear that we need in these drawers now, and then we put the summer clothes away and vice versa, so you can basically be a bit more versatile with what you keep in your drawers depending on the weather. In here, not going to go into too much detail because there's not a lot to see, but we've got packing cubes in here, and I keep all of my everyday wear, so swimming shorts, pants, socks, t-shirts, like sport wear, gym wear, all in just one crate, so I know exactly where everything is. Got some jackets and that sort of stuff, but that's just a clothing drawer. And in here this is our dry store. So I'll quickly talk to you about what we can run through the electric. So you've got to be careful that you're not drawing too much power out of the battery, because some appliances don't work. We bought an electric kettle yesterday and it just didn't work. It kept tripping everything up and it wouldn't let us run it because the power that it was trying to draw was too heavy for the battery capabilities. So we've basically been able to purchase things that we can use. So we've got a small toasty maker there. It's from Kmart. I think it ended up being $10 because this was a display model. Again, a little cheap sort of saving money trick. If you get the display models, you ended up saving a little bit of money. And we've also got an air fryer there as well. It's just a single air fryer. We can cook a portion of like chips or fries in it. We can cook a little burger in it. So we mainly got that because if the weather's bad outside, we can still have the air fryer inside. And also this is free to run because we're using the solar. We can plug this in and it doesn't cost us a single penny, whereas the gas costs us money to run. So it's a good little way of saving a little bit of money. Our dry store's here as well. So we've just got some garlic, some chilli. We've got some pastas in these handy little pots. Some rice, just stuff that doesn't really go out of date and we can use like if we are running low on fresh food. We've got some noodle bowls in there. These are a saviour for lunch times. We've got some juices, some breads, everything that we need is basically in this drawer, from salad dressings to stock cubes to garlic, oils, that sort of stuff. Just out the way, under the bed. All of our food's in here. So for anyone that's been to Australia knows that the flies are a nightmare and the mosquitoes love they're really attracted to light. So at night when it's really stuffy in the van, I've basically made these fly nets. So these fly nets are made of Velcro and a fiberglass mesh. So if you just come in a little bit closer, Liv, basically stuck it onto the back of the fiberglass mesh and I've glued it on the other side so it doesn't come undone. And these strap around the windows from the outside like this, so we can have the windows open at night on the inside, and we've got no way of having any huntsman spiders getting into the van, no way of any flies getting into the van, and this basically gives us a little bit more security for that. The other night we was out in the bush at a place called Lily's Rest, and that was in a place called Forestdale, and as soon as we turned up we had the windows open, we had the door open, just sorting stuff out, and there was about 10 mosquitoes in the van straight away. So these nets are going to come in so handy when we're out in them rural spots, or when there's a dead spot in the wind and the flies are a little bit bad, we can still be in the van and not get harassed by them at all. Now as we come into this area, we've got another dry store tub here. I just basically coil up the solar wire and just put it in here just behind the fridge. We need the space behind the fridge, we need the ventilation, we need to keep it nice and free so we don't actually store anything behind there. But yeah, that's where the back of the fridge is, and also all of the wiring to our indoor plugs are run just through here as well. Right, so I have packed up this drawer now. We've got some of our Coles bags and stuff in it, but this is basically our water setup. So that we've got the pump that's going into a 25 litre drum here, and then we've got a 20 litre drum at the back, and this is basically carrying all of our water storage. So we are actually low at the moment, so we're going to need to go and sort that out today. But this is a great way to go and have water in your van and not worry about basically running out. We also keep all of our sprays, all of our shampoos and conditioners and that sort of stuff, and also we've got a nice bottle of extra virgin olive oil just down here standing up, and also our laundry detergent. So everything just gets stuffed in here. It's a bit of a nothing drawer really. We don't really need much in here day to day, other than like the washing up stuff, but the water is an absolute must. I was very surprised how quickly we went through 25 litres of water. Bear in mind we haven't been washing up out of the van, and 25 litres has only lasted us 2.5 days. So definitely have a spare water on your top, especially if you're going to be doing like the Nullarbor, for instance, which we are, from Perth to Esperance, from Esperance to like Adelaide, for instance, and you're going to be crossing that long straight at 1,000 miles or whatever it is. You're going to need spare water on board, so definitely invest in water tanks on your roof, and make sure your water tank is always full up. Another thing I didn't mention is underneath here. This is a very vital area for us for getting in and out of the van all the time. We've got some trainers in here, got my trainers, my flip-flops go in here as well, and also another everyday essential, we've got our sun creams just underneath here. Standing up, And also the fact that we're getting our shoes out of there next to the sun cream, we know every time we go out, it's just a quick reminder just to put sun cream on. This is a Cancer Council one. We've researched it. This is non-greasy and it is an absolute everyday essential for Australia. Even on cloudy days, it's like UV6. So you've got to be really careful. So yeah, anyway, sun cream is what you need. We've also got our jacks underneath here as well. So if I ever need to change a tyre or we have a blowout, we've got our jacks underneath here. Dustpan and brush. Again, probably one of the best things we've bought is a brush, because in the van all the time you get sand, you get mud, you get little specks of dirt, you get little ants and stuff. Having that brush just to brush everything out the van is absolutely essential. So that is the van tour of our Toyota Hiace 4-wheel drive. We are really excited to start hitting the road. As I say, we are on Preston Beach today. We are at a free RV camp and we are heading towards Adelaide. So if you've liked this video and you are a van lifer and you're in Australia, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, give us a comment below on where you want us to visit on our way down to Adelaide over the next couple of months. And yeah, hope you liked the video. See you on the next one.